Pop, pop, pop. Hello, hello, hello. Cool, that's down. Hey everybody, welcome to another YouTube video. I know I've been slacking with the videos. Okay, fuck that. I'm not even going to talk about it. Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video. And in this one, I'm going to break down one of the images that I've created like a few months ago and just kind of talk to you guys about the process, how I made it, what I shot it with, and just kind of the process behind the whole thing. So let's get into that. Okay, so what we're looking at here is a photo that I took of my girlfriend a few months ago, and as you can tell, it's a little moody. You know, there's just a soft light inside of the image. There's not a lot going on. It's just light, right? Okay, so how I created this image. For one, I experimented a lot. I experimented with a lot of different lighting. I experimented with 2 lights. I experimented with 1 light. I experimented with the type of light I used. I used 2 flashes on it at one point. I used 1 flash at it at one point. I wish I recorded the process of me actually taking this picture, but sadly I didn't. Because to be honest, it was more of like a test shoot idea. I was just testing ideas, trying to figure out what I wanted to do for my next shoot. But I mean, it kind of turned into its own like little shoot as it was, because the image that came from it is by far one of my favorites. Okay, so let me take you back and show you a few of the first images that came from this shoot. Okay, so this was the first shot that I took. This one was with no light. It was just my window light, which is right over here. And it was just the side of the wall. I actually had my softbox actually kind of in the way. That's why it's so dark. It was kind of blocking some of the light because I was trying to figure out how much light I needed to make almost like a window look. Let's see. The next photo. See, now this is when I started messing with the flashes. So this one I believe was just 1 flash. It was my softbox. And I was shooting it from this angle, trying to light her from this side instead of where my window is, which is right over here. Really, I don't know why I did it, but to be honest, these pictures are not good. And you'll kind of see how I was experimenting with the light, how I was kind of going through it, and basically how it turns into your final image, because a lot of this is just experimentation. I don't really know how the shoots are going to pan out. All I know is that when I get the right light, that's when I know that I'm onto something there. And that's when I can actually start like changing kind of the composition to how I see fit for that situation. Okay, so the next image, this one. See, now it's getting a little bit closer to the final image, just 3 shots down. I think that's because I kind of started to shape kind of the idea that I was going for in the first place, but still, the image is just way too flat. I think the softbox wasn't doing me any favors by any means, because all it was doing was just bringing out everything inside of the shot and not really giving any depth to anything. It's flattening the image and it's not making it look good. So just to let you know, when you use a flash, it's not always going to be pretty. You kind of have to mold the light in order to get that shot that you're looking for. Next shot. Okay, so once again, we're getting a little bit closer to the final image. This one's composed a little bit better than the last few of them, just because I think around this point I was trying to figure out how I wanted the image to look. And I mean, this one's not bad, but once again, it's not what I was going for. I wanted something that showed depth and gave a lot to the image. This, still a little flat. I could have edited it, made it look a little bit better, but overall, it just wasn't really what I wanted. Okay, so the next shot. Completely blown out. Terrible. Just terrible. Normally, these types of pictures never get seen by anybody. Trust me, I make my own mistakes. I take a lot of really, really bad pictures. You guys only see the good ones. As with every other fucking photographer out there, we all take terrible shots. You guys just see the good ones, though. This picture, really blown out. But once again, I was messing with the light. I was trying to figure it out. When you're messing with flash, that's basically all you're doing, is just playing with the light, trying to figure out how you're going to mold it, how you're going to shape it. That's why you see a lot of people with diffusers and light modifiers and things like that, is because they're trying to mold the light and figure out what looks best for what they're trying to create. So the next one, this one, getting better. I think I dialed back the softbox a little bit more, or actually I think what I ended up using here was actually the Beauty Dish, which is I think my 22-inch Beauty Dish. I think it's a 22 or a 24. It's something like that. I'll link it down below. It's really big. I didn't think it was going to be huge, but yeah, it's a little too big. I'm going to try to get a smaller one sometime soon. But this light's a little bit harsher. It gives you a little bit more depth inside of the image, but once again, it's just not what I wanted. Let's bring it to the next one. Same kind of idea, just compose a little bit differently. As you can see, you could kind of see the window light right here peeping through. And I think this is when I started to decide that I wanted to go for something a little bit more simple, not mess around with too many lights, too many things that just make it more complicated than what it needs to be. So this was peeping through. This was all Beauty Dish light, which, once again, it's coming out better than the soft light or the soft box. The soft box was just a little too soft, and like I said, it was just making everything look flat and just not how I wanted it. So this, once again, with the Beauty Dish, you're going to get harsher light. And when you get harsher light, everything else gets pushed out, like a little bit more contrasty, a little bit darker. And so this is just all experimentation, just me trying to figure out how I want the light to fit the model and the situation. And it's okay. It's not what I wanted. And as you can see by the next few pictures, I decided to take out all of my light modifiers and just go with the straight, basic, bare to the bones, I don't know, shoot or light, I guess. I'm more used to this type of light. When I took out all the light modifiers, when I took out all the flashes and the Beauty Dish and whatever else, I started to get something that I was actually happy with, something that I was considering more of the vision that I had for this image. And okay, so the rest of this is just me experimenting with natural light. I shot natural light basically since the beginning. I actually had this weird like phobia of light modifiers, and I never really understood why people needed to use flashes and things like that. When they were like outside, I'm like, just use natural light, man. But I kind of found the beauty in Beauty Dishes and soft boxes and things like that, and I started to really love it, especially when you're shooting at, you know, things like f11, f16. You're gonna want some sort of light to compensate for that type of detail that you're trying to get inside of your images. When you're shooting fashion, for example, you're gonna want to shoot at an f11 to like an f16 to get the most detail inside of the shot. And there's just no way that you can do it with natural light. I mean, you can, but for me, like using a backdrop and things like that and just shooting flash, it's so much easier than going outside and dealing with all that. Now, if it was like an outdoor shoot, well then yeah, I would try to figure it out with light modifiers and things like that. But most of mine take place in my garage, and I kind of have an idea, I have a vision, and so that's why I needed to use a flash for those. But this, I decided to go for straight up natural light because this is almost perfect. This is almost exactly what I wanted. So let's keep going. Okay, so once again, I believe I brought up the ISO a little bit. Actually I didn't. What did I do here? How did this get lighter? Cannot figure it out. I don't know. They're both f4. ISO 100. I don't know. This one's suddenly brighter though. Oh, I think I actually know what I did. I actually moved the light modifiers out of the way because, like, I'm pretty sure I said that at the beginning. Is I still have the light modifiers in the way for this shot. That's why it's so dark. This is, I think, when I pulled them all away and I started to just see the natural light coming through my window, which is once again right over here. I actually shot the pictures just right in this corner, just using my wall. I'm not using these boards or anything else for this shoot. I'm just using my flat walls, which are like a kind of like a medium gray type of tone. Okay, so let's bring it to the next one. Posing a little bit differently. I backed up a little bit. It's getting there. A little bit more. Once again, I was getting happier with this. I was starting to see the light kind of shape the way that I wanted it to, because I really wanted like a darker, like moodier type of image. And from this came this, which was a lot closer to what I wanted. I got a lot closer with my camera. I got more up into her face with it. And the reason why is because I'm using, as you can see, a 23mm, which on my camera equals to about a 35. And so I'm not really shooting with like a 50, which is something that you're going to want to use for like portraits and things like that. But at a 35, you can still kind of do these types of things. You're going to have to get a little close, and it's not as close as I wanted it to. But I mean, if you don't have a 50, use a 35. I'm going to make another video about 35 and why I like it so much. Like, I think it's going to be the next video I make. So stay tuned for that. Anyways, this is getting closer to what I wanted. I started to see the image that I wanted to create with this, and basically I shot like 1 or 2 more images. I think it's 2 or 3 or maybe 4, something like that. Anyways, I started to shoot more and find that picture, find the one that I really, really wanted. All right, so a little bit, you know, that got really dark. I don't know why. I forgot why. This shoot was a while ago, like several months ago, and I wasn't going to make a video on it, but I figured right now would be a really, really good time, just because like I haven't made a video like this. I haven't made a video explaining kind of the process, explaining my thought process when it comes to making these images. I don't really show anybody these outtake photos, and I thought it'd be something interesting to give to my audience here on YouTube. Like a little behind the scenes peek on, like, we're not perfect. Like, we all take really crappy pictures sometimes, you know. I take really, really crappy pictures sometimes, like this one. But anyways, let's get back to it. So this was getting cooler. I was really, really liking this one. I was actually thinking about stopping right there, but I mean, if you have your model there, you have time, just keep shooting until you know you got the shot, because this would have worked and I would have been happy with it. But why do I want to stop having just like one good image? I want several. I want to like increase my odds of being happy, because there's been times on shoots where I've shot a picture and I'm like, okay, cool, that's perfect. And then I get home and then I realize it's a little bit blurry, or something's off, or it's a little too crooked, something that you can't fix in post, or there's a hair doing this and I have to edit that out and it's a pain in the ass, when all I could have done was just, hey, can you move that just really quick? You want to get the shot in body as much as possible, or at least get it close to how you want to, like, what's the word I'm looking for? How you want to see it, like 100%. Like, you want it to be as close as the final image in body, or at least that's how I feel. I just think it's a lot easier that way, because I would much rather just deal with coloring and maybe a little bit of skin editing in post, not like transforming the image from scratch. That's not my style. That's not who I am. It takes way too much time to do that. When you're trying to do like a fashion editorial, or trying to get images to like a friend and things like that in a timely manner, doing something like that just takes way too much time. I mean, it takes me enough time already to edit, 150 pictures sometimes. So once again, I try to get it as close to in body as the final image as possible. Okay. So these next few are basically the same shot, just slightly differently composed than what I had it. These were just outtakes of another idea that I had, but they were coming out just too weird, and I don't know. Like, they're pretty, but I don't know. I wanted something else. But let's get back to the picture. So it's this one. This is the final image here. This is the one that was actually edited. This is the final edited image. This one, where was it? I think, yeah, this one was the edited one. Okay, so let's show what it looked like before. Okay, so this is what it looked like before coloring, and this is what it looked like after. So once again, like I said before, I try to get my pictures as close to the final image in body as possible. And I'm not lying when I say that either. As you can tell, they look pretty close. The only thing different is coloring. Like I said before, I wanted it more moody, more things like that. If you want a moody picture, bring up a little bit of blues, make it a little bit faded. If it's not your style, just bring up a little bit of blues, a little bit of teals, and it immediately gives you like a more moodier type of vibe. But that's the final image. There's not much I did besides just coloring. I think I sharpened it a little bit. And I think that's pretty much it. Like, there's not really like any editing in the skin. As you can tell with my sharpening though, like it brings out some of the details inside of the skin. And I know some people may not like that, but I wanted to go for like that type of look. Because even though it looks softer, it also looks harder at the same time. But man, I think that's pretty much it. My final image settings are here. ISO 640, 23mm f4, 1/25th of a second, or 1/125th. But that's pretty much it. I really don't know what else to say. I took a lot of pictures. I say a lot. And that's kind of my process. I just take a lot of pictures. I have an idea for something, and I want to take a chance in doing it, and I want to just like experiment with the idea. I want to experiment with just something that's in my head. Just I want to get it out as quick and whatever as possible. And this was just an idea I kind of had last minute. I told my girlfriend about it, and she was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. I was like, all right. So I brought her over here. It was, like I said, it was just a test shoot too. I was just experimenting for the sake of experimenting, and this is what came of it. It's one of my favorite images today. We had it painted, which is really cool, by this really talented artist. She really loves it. I really love it. And that's pretty much it, guys. Nothing really else to say. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this behind the scenes type of video thing. I'll try to do more of these. I think that these are kind of cool to break down kind of the process behind some of my images. Some of my favorite images, I guess. Maybe I'll do like a street photo type of one soon, so you guys can see all my outtakes for street photography as well, because not all those pictures are perfect either, and I don't think my photography is perfect. I'm not saying that, but like, you know, there's some good images there and there's some really bad ones, and for you guys to see the bad ones, I think it brings some value to my content. It kind of shows you that I'm a normal person too. We all take terrible pictures, and all you can do is get better. You just take more pictures, you get better, you learn composition and all the other stuff. Anyways, that's it for real this time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, I'm not even going to say it. Just do what you need to do. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. See ya.